That's easy. Yeah. Boom, shakalaka.
What up, Mike?
What up? Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is the fast. Basically, if you want, I'll start with the digital fast that we've been
Okay.
doing recently. But to give people an update on the Fit Quest, starting with the fast, I thought would be fun. Trying to think of how it came up in conversation. Honestly, I don't quite remember, but I think we were just like, "Hey, how's it going?" Because of craziness, basically.
Yeah, so we've both been doing different kinds of fasts, right?
Yes. And so,
And
yeah, I think you were talking about your fast and it made me think about the digital fast that we've been doing. Okay. Now I remember.
okay.
All right. So long story short, we've been trying to not be on screens around the kids as much, like watching, mainly watching on our phone, but even just like texting or other things over a longer period of time, like a quick text or a quick call, that kind of thing, but not
Mhm.
a lot of stuff that would pull us away for a long time,
Right.
which is what we're doing right now, honestly,
But luckily, there's no kids in the house right now, at least.
right now. Yeah, exactly. But it's not like a hard rule. Like sometimes it'll come up, but just like keeping that as a guideline, we thought we would do it for 1 week. And at the end of the first week, our daughter was like, "Hey, I think I want to go another week of this." Oh, and I didn't mention the kids aren't really watching any screen time except for like family movie night once a week right now.
Oh, wow. That's like a real fast.
Yeah, that's the big part of it. Sorry, I left that off. Yeah. And the reasoning was one to try and figure out how to get our attention more to the kids, to give our attention better to the kids,
Sure.
because just behaviorally they're better off when we do. What do you know? Right? Who'd have thunk? And then the other reason was to give the kids a little bit of a break. It in some ways. So like Zena's not doing her schoolwork as much while we take a break from screens. And that kind of gave us a break too, in a way, which was nice because we do year round homeschool almost. It's not a lot. It's just like maybe an hour's worth a day of schoolwork, but we pretty much do it every day all year round.
That's
Um,
awesome, by the way. I would love to talk about that one episode.
yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I know enough about it to talk about it now. Jasmine is the director of all that. Honestly, I'm just like a seasonal teacher, I would say. And the kids are going to forest school soon too, so we're rearing up for that, which is going to be like a once a week outing with forest teachers in hiking type environments or stuff like that. Or out.
And is that just like a couple hours out in the woods or on a hike that they teach about things? That's what it sounds like.
I think so. I believe so. But and I also think they will read a story or something like that beforehand, and it'll point out stuff for the story. I think that's how it goes, generally speaking. But this will be our first time doing it over here.
Oh, wow. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, so we're ramping up for that. We're taking a little break from schoolwork for a little bit, but we're coupling that with a digital fast for the kids more dramatically than the parents because I have to work, basically.
Sure. Absolutely.
But it's been pretty good overall. It's been nice and it's been funny to see them enjoy it more than they thought they would when we first announced it.
Yeah,
You know,
did they freak out at the beginning and they said, "Oh, no TVs"? Do they go on tablets and stuff too, or just TV?
we're crazy in terms of we have tablets. We have two tablets actually upstairs, and then we have a big TV down in the basement, but we don't really watch the big TV except for like movie nights a lot of times.
Okay.
Although if they wake up early in the morning, sometimes we'll go down in the basement and watch something so we can be quiet to not wake mommy up so she can get some sleep. But most of the time they're just on screens upstairs, which is like a iPad or a Kindle screen. And that can be useful in some ways for screen time, but also really easy for them to just bring it anywhere with them as well, which makes useful and not useful for the behavioral thing.
Now, will your kids always choose the tablet over the TV if they have a choice? Just curious.
Because the TV is in the basement and it tends to be colder in the basement, I've and maybe some other factors that I'm not aware of, they seem to choose the tablet because we're upstairs more than we are downstairs. And usually when they watch, it's like when I'm making dinner or lunch, or sometimes we'll watch while we're eating dinner or lunch. If I'm like cleaning, I was like, sometimes I'll be sitting down with them for dinner and sometimes I'll be giving them dinner and then doing dishes basically while they eat their dinner. But not so much the past week or so. Just been interesting.
Multitasking. Yeah, I always find that my kids will always gravitate towards the tablet over the TV. Like, even if they're in the same room, they'll have a like I say, they'll turn the TV off just to watch their tablet. And sometimes they'll even watch a movie that they could watch on the 70-inch TV on one tablet and share that one tablet instead
Mhm.
of just turning on the movie on the big screen. And they'll literally be sitting on the same couch that they could watch that on, and they've always been like that. And I just wonder if it's something about that now. And it sounds like you have similar situations, but it sounds like most of your hypotheses are based on like your environment,
Yeah.
where I think it's something to do with
It
just
could be
like,
generational. Yeah.
well, yeah, or there's crack in the tablet. I don't really know, but
Well, they have much more options if they know how to use the tablet.
it keeps their attention faster, maybe.
Can they switch between shows more easily on the tablet? They change their mind, or can they go and do all that kind of stuff?
Probably instead of grabbing the remote that's 2 feet away. Is that how,
Do they
like,
know how to use the remote?
yes, they do. Even our 4-year-old can use it. I don't know if that's a
Uh,
proud moment or just how much TV they watch, but
Like my kids don't know how to use the remote that much. I think that's a big deterrent for them. I would say they have to get me to put it on, and then
my 4-year-old gave me the tablet the other day and put on this PJ Masks game, and he's like, "Go play it, daddy," and I was like, "Alright, let's play," and I'm a pretty good gamer,
yeah,
and I was just choking hard on this game. My 4-year-old is, "Daddy, let me show you." He grabs it, and he crushes this game, like, he's just dodging rocks left and right on this little tablet thing. I guess I'm just used to, like, gamer controllers instead of just the screen. I don't know,
yeah.
but
The tilt to control things I suck at, and I feel like the kids are better at the tilt to control games.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm okay with games and things like that. And I have a love-hate relationship with the screens. It's funny, I'm actually doing a little bit of a digital fast or whatever with the
Yeah, you've been
kids.
kind of doing a digital fast for a bit. I feel like with
Yeah,
all the different digital items.
I think we talked about this on the last pod, but basically from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, my I turn off the Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Okay.
And so that turns off our 2 TVs and the 2 tablets is what's connected to. I have it's called summertime, and so I just turn it off from 9 to 5. I'm not 100% with it by any
Yeah.
means, but I've had similar reactions from my kids that you've had, that they've actually really enjoyed it because they don't get me wrong, they will sit in front of the TV as long as they want. But when I turn it off and we hang out with them, and give full attention and play the fun games and stuff like that that they want, then they really enjoyed it and that they were like, "Oh, this is awesome. Let's do it tomorrow," and things like that. And I had that similar experience.
Yeah. And it's mind blowing, I think, in an obvious way, like, or you think that it's probably going to be that way. And yet you get that initial kind of pain reaction from children.
Yeah.
And
And yeah,
then
so that's my but that's pretty much it's okay. I should probably stick to it more. Um, but
I
you
like
know,
the
some
idea of doing it here and there. I don't know whether what an ideal frequency is for us or other people. Honestly, I don't feel like I could say that very strongly, but I do think it's just like a nutritional fast or just taking a break from something you're doing, possibly a little too much, whatever the hell that is.
Exactly,
Uh,
and really my morning routine is based around my kids watching TV so that I can get my walk in, get my yoga in, everything I need to be done before I start watching the kids all day. And sometimes that's tough. Everyone knows if you're working and all that kind of stuff, it's tough to do it.
Yeah. So what's your path that you're working on right now?
So I've been doing a cannabis fast for I'm not too far in, but I'm 10 days in.
Okay.
And so ever since I've been on sabbatical, I haven't really done that many cannabis fasts. Usually when I'm working, I do it fairly often. Like I don't do it all the time when I'm working,
Mhm.
but I haven't been working too much, just doing podcasts and stuff like that. So yeah, so I'm on day 10 of this fast. Basically, I'm just gonna do 30 days is my only real goal. It's not like a goal, it's just an easy thing to accomplish. And the reason I'm doing that is to test if it increases my golf skills at all. Because my Fit Quest,
Wait,
what's up?
I remember you saying that now.
My Fit Quest, like it's been the past couple of years, is basically to get better at golf, and I have not been doing great at that, but it's slow, and I just have this feeling in the back of my mind that maybe cannabis might have a little bit to do with it, or maybe overuse of cannabis, but not limited use of cannabis. And so that's basically my only test is doing this month and then gonna try and just stay low with it for as long as I can to see if I get better at golf.
Okay.
Yeah.
That I feel whenever anybody does a fast, and like when I say this to you, I'm thinking of it with my digital fasts too. Do you have an idea of what you're going to do as an off ramp from the fast?
My original thought for the off ramp is that my birthday is on Labor Day weekend, and it would be something I'd probably stick to. Well, it's weird with like hand-eye coordination skills because
Mhm,
I would say for a health aspect that
mhm,
I don't want to say smoke a joint or hit a bowl or something like that.
mhm.
Like due to my lungs or anything like that. Like a tincture or something I think would be a little bit better for my health. But like when it comes to sports,
A
man, when
tincture takes too long for a lot of athletes.
a tincture takes too long and it's not a consistent, it's usually deeper. You get, at least I personally get just more mellow, where just a small hit of a joint can really put me in a focus
Mhm.
where I can control things a little bit more, where like a gummy or a tincture is just, what's happening? I don't know. And that's what I just don't want to have it in the back of my mind. If I didn't do it, could I have been better? And that's my test.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. I like it keeping things simple like that too, honestly. And the reason I talk about the off ramp, it's one of those things where I think if people have so this is like a short term goal, but the challenge that they have a short term goal, and then that they're hoping affects a long term result. We want to have a nice off ramp from that short term to help them get that long term.
Interesting. So would that be like, for instance, if we're relating it to fitness,
Mhm.
say you do a month of, say you take out low carbs. I don't know. Say you follow a certain food plan for 1 month,
Yeah,
and
I
that's
think
your
that's where it comes
challenge.
up a lot of times. Yep.
And then you would need like a strategy to,
Right.
as you're calling it, off ramp. I like that because I know when I was training a lot of people at the gym, I had a client, he lost like 120 pounds. And that was between me, but he was also seeing a nutritionist.
Mhm.
And his nutritionist just would always talk about that transition. Like when he's done with
That's what messes people up the most. I know I'm worried about the off ramp with the digital fast a little bit, honestly.
oh yeah, you're just gonna binge Netflix for a couple days.
Is he, it's,
Those
it's
are
a
stacking.
volatile environment,
Those are
honestly.
stacking up.
I know. Seriously. Like
But that's what kind of happens with everything.
it's yeah, most things. But ideally not all things.
Ideally, but so if you're doing some kind of food fast, is it FOMO? Just if you're doing a digital fast, and is it you're like,
Oh,
oh,
the hormone builds up. Yeah, over time.
I'm
Yeah.
missing that cake. I'm missing that cheeseburger. That's what I'm gonna have right when I get off this fast. That can't be the thought though. Like you have to focus on that off ramp. I really like that, by the way.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah, and I think with this digital fast, what I'm trying to focus on is not the end of it in terms of, okay, at the end of this, we're gonna have more screen time, which is obvious, I know. But like focusing on it like that, I think changes the perception in a way I don't think the motivation's in the right place then. Versus if I think of it like at the end of this, we're going to have figured out ways to give better attention to the kids in non-screen time.
Sure. I
I think that helps frame the off ramp better.
like
Basically.
you're really trying to learn from the journey and take stuff from the journey
Right.
rather than there is no destination. And
Yeah.
that's usually the lesson when it comes to fitness and everything like that.
And it's
But
funny because I don't think of that as quickly in nutrition challenges as much, honestly, because I'm pretty motivated. So if you tell me like you can't have pizza for 3 months, at the end of that 3 months, I'm going to be like, oh, why? Let me tell you what kind of pizza I'm going to have at the end of this 3 months.
I think it's a really hard thing. And us being dads to young kids right now, I think it's 10 times harder to teach a 7-year-old that this life is a journey thing and like the little things going up, like there's no reward. I'm trying to focus on telling like my kids that there's no reward in life. Like you're not gonna get there's no end. Like the
You say it
reward,
exactly like that.
like you will not get no ice cream, you will not pass go, you will not, but it's really hard
Just like
to
Gene Wilder telling Charlie in the Chocolate Factory that he did not win, that he did not get the Chocolate Factory. Goodbye.
It's hard, man. It's hard to teach a kid that, and it's hard if you weren't taught properly from a young age how to enjoy the journey over the end until you hit all these ends of your journey and realize that the journey was everything, right?
I think so.
So how do you learn from challenges then?
The vague answer is you bring awareness, man.
Yeah.
Awareness.
Be aware,
Or
not
the the specific. You sure are you still on your fast? Are you sure? The specific tactics that we've used for awareness were not like planned out. So this wasn't like I'm going to do it this way. We're going to do digital fast this way. We're going to bring awareness this way. Like we don't have a coach helping us to do this that way, which would be nice, but we don't. Week none. But I think the thing that's helped us bring awareness a lot is just me and Jazz talking about what it's been like with the kids at the end of the day, basically. And having that discussion has helped a lot. That's why I like these podcasts so much, by the way, Josh, because they help us bring awareness to our own things and then maybe we can share it with other people
exactly. I
about tactics instead of just bring awareness, man, and put it on in a cool reel with exact abs AI digitally put on there. Cause I think,
How often, if you've been listening to us for a while, is awareness like our answer? Because even though it is the
you know,
hitting like term out there on the internet, it almost always is the answer.
yeah. And different scenarios require different strategies to reinforce awareness, I would say. And that's why we talk about it probably a lot, but from different angles. I
Sure.
would say,
Sure. Yeah.
you know? So like in this scenario, I'm not, like I said, I'm not talking with a coach about strategies at all. Maybe if I had a therapist or something like that, I'd talk to a therapist about strategies and people do that. And that helps me bring awareness. I'm talking to you about it for
Right.
today. And that helps bring awareness. I mean,
Journals.
journals. Yep, exactly. Is the typical first idea answer. I'm trying to get better at my writing in journal to myself. Honestly, I use way too much shorthand, and then it's hard for me to understand my own notes and journals a little bit later. I'm noticing. So I'm
Is
trying. fix that a little bit. We'll see if it continues. So I need to make a plan if I really want to make that much better. But actually, I do have a pretty good plan. I think that could be another podcast. No.
I wonder how you would do that because I write down notes when I'm on my morning walks this morning. We haven't gotten into our Fit Quest yet,
Yeah.
but
Oh shit.
I write down my morning on my morning walk. I'll jot a note down, but it is like chicken scratch because you're listening to something and you're like, oh, let me write it down real quick so that I can still listen. But I think if we were talking about this, maybe later on in that day, you go to your notes like that same. It has to be that same day, or maybe even like right after that walk or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
You sit there and you look at your chicken scratch, and then you write a couple sentences about it, and then you move on. I think that would be like just an easy fix without thinking about it too much.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've been doing that with my workouts,
Oh,
actually. And I've been taking the way, so I've been doing a lot of journaling after my workouts because my brain is, if it's a good workout, and usually I time it well, it is a good workout, but you get that endorphin.
oh,
You get that. Funny because people are like runner high. I'm like, I get a strength training high. I wish that was like more popular. It needs a better, it needs runner's high is like one word, two syllables, or two words, three syllables. Basically, strength training high is three words, four syllables, and it's not as good
not
because
as good.
I
It's
feel
just your blood's flowing to your brain, man.
I know, but no, we have to brand it right, Josh. All
What?
about branding.
No one will listen if you don't do that.
Yep. Talking to a wall. Uh, no, I'm talking. I am talking to a wall, actually, right now. But what was I saying?
Let's get into our Fit Quest.
Yeah, let's get into our big quest, and that's why I was journaling after my workout.
Okay. How's your workouts been going?
Going good. I just transitioned away from Dan John's Easy Strength for fat loss,
Okay. Okay. We'll talk
actually,
about that.
and I'm in my first week of my new program. And gosh, I didn't change that much. And it still amazes me. And I see it all the time. I see it every week. I see it sometimes multiple times in a day. But like you start a new program, even if you don't change a lot, like how much more fatiguing and hard it is. Like on there, and maybe not even in the actual first day, but in the recovery process, because your nervous system is just saying, what the fuck did you just do? And the little muscle fibers that you're hitting next to the other muscle fibers that you were previously hitting, but you weren't hitting before, saying, what the fuck did you just do?
I know, man. It's crazy.
It's crazy. It's so crazy.
Have you been getting more sore, I'm guessing, this week, or is it just
Yeah,
less?
this week I've been a little bit more sore. I've been having just little weird tight spots that I've been trying to pay attention to and bring awareness to.
Sure, sure, sure.
And
And are you doing 2 workouts, 4 workouts?
I'm
How
doing this week, I'm doing two or three, I would say. I got my second one tomorrow, and then we'll see if I get another one over the weekend.
what are your rep ranges? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you working on?
Yeah, it's very similar to easy strength. I'm doing like 3 reps, 3 to 5 reps, probably about 4 exercises. I'm being a little more specific with my warm up. Like easy strength, it was like a really simple warm up. Basically, I'm adding a little more to my warm up, and that's basically just like individual mobilizations and stretches that I've been neglecting, but not because I didn't want to, just because I wanted to do easy strength by the book for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, of course.
But I'm gonna get back to those because I know they feel good, and I'm done with the experiment. And it was fun, basically. And I think it actually, according to like body fat and weight, I did lose a good amount of body fat in a short period of time. I think I lost 4% body fat and stayed the same weight and went up in 3 lifts.
Ooh, that's good. Those are good numbers.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Oh,
good.
like
Well, I'm doing like kettlebell clean and press. I'm doing kettlebell goblet squats. I'm doing lunges and swings, and I'm doing like an active hang in there, and they're all straight sets, basically.
Nice. So pretty similar to your last. Pretty similar to your last.
Yeah, I'm still doing straight sets. I haven't gone back into my usual circuit routine. I had a lot of fun doing straight sets, and I think I missed straight sets a lot. So I'm in a straight set season of life right now, I think.
I think straight sets, the one advantage over doing circuits is that you don't get close into cardio. And so you're really able to focus on the muscles and focus on your technique and really get the proper recovery for each lift. And I do switching it out and doing straight sets for a whole cycle instead of doing maybe like a straight set for your power lift and then moving into a circuit at the end.
Yeah.
Staying for a whole month in one cycle, like the straight set cycle in all your lifts, because I think your body won't be as confused. And so you're really sending that signal to amplify whatever you're trying to do.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. It feels more like I'm taking specific vitamins for specific scenarios versus taking a good multivitamin, which in a way requires a little bit more nuance, which is why I'm being a little bit more specific with my warm up and my mobility work, I would say.
Mhm.
And this is also because I'm doing a good amount of cardio on my bike right now. I'm riding my bike a lot.
I was just going to ask about cardio. Are you riding bike around?
Yeah, I'm riding my mountain bike all around the farm and at the trail nearby. And then I'll just go on little extra jaunts. And then I'll end up pushing the kids in the stroller a lot. And the kids are walking a lot right now. And Jazz is walking a good bit. I got a couple people on the farm walking a little bit more. So I'm trying to be out there and be a good example.
So your total activity is up high right now. It's summertime where we are, so
Mhm.
you're
Yep.
outside.
Yep.
Cool, man. That's awesome. It sounds like it's going well.
Yeah, man, it's going pretty good. Going pretty good. I think this phase, I'm just focusing on, I guess, the keeping some of that strength, I would say, but maybe building a little bit more of a cardiovascular capacity, I would say. So my heart rate's getting up with the clean and press more versus just the strict press like I was
Right.
doing before and with swings and stuff like that. And I'm not doing cardio right at the end of the workout, which I was before. I'm just doing it throughout the day,
Right.
basically.
Cool. Dang. Awesome. Yeah, you're looking lean. You feeling good?
Feeling pretty good, man. I'm feeling pretty good. It's crazy to be leaner. I'm like 218 right now,
Okay.
which is weird. I still want to get down to 205, I think, like full leanness at some point. I don't know when though.
All right. Yeah, we've talked about before. Once you hit 50, you're just losing body fat
Yeah, the
and
motivation isn't extremely strong for that reason. I'm okay with keeping a little bit. I'm in a healthy range everywhere. I just went to the doc. They're like, "You're doing great." Yes.
perfect. Fist bump. Awesome, man.
Yeah. Check in, check out. What are you
Sweet.
doing? What are you up to? Tell me what you're doing. You're golfing.
One interesting thing, so definitely golfing. One interesting thing is that I have not weighed myself or checked my body fat percentage since I would say maybe January
Yeah.
or so. And usually I track over the past 2 years, I track a lot. I'm able to step on it every day and just and track it. But so what happened this year is that I ate a lot of bread at the beginning of the year.
You got really into cooking sourdough is what you got.
Because I was cooking sourdough bread and all sorts of different breads and
Yeah.
desserts and stuff like that, and just gained a little weight, and but anyway,
Got that homemaker weight. That's
that's
just funny.
yeah, it was crazy, and I think just out of fear of looking at the scale and being like, "Oh my gosh," like I just haven't even looked at it or anything like that, so I feel but right now I feel pretty good. I had my last check-in, I think I was on, like, day 40 or something like that of yoga,
Mhm.
and right now I'm on day, like, 85 of yoga. Basically, 85 out of the last 95 days, I've done, a yoga with Adriene session.
Yeah. That's
On
right. You're far into it now.
Yeah, and I feel better than of in all of my professional lifting career, and I've barely been lifting. I feel stronger, my back hurts less, all sorts of things. So,
Yeah, I told you about the story about the coach who made one of the new lifters just do a whole bunch of mobility for a few months and they blew up like they were on steroids.
That's a very similar story I've heard tons of times, but I don't know if you've told me that whole story.
Yeah, that's that. I don't want to take too much time because I want to hear more about your fit quest. But long story short, this person came in and they had started weightlifting, but they had gotten to a point where they didn't feel like they were getting any stronger and they just felt really tight and they were starting to get injured in different places. And one of the strength coaches I knew, he was like a mentor for me then, just had him do a whole bunch of mobility work specific for him and a little bit of strength basically, but and not very much and very strict with it. And especially if he didn't get his mobility work in, it's like a no-go. And at first he was not very into it, but then he noticed that the coach wasn't budging at all. And so he just went full tilt into it. And then he started gaining muscle and he was barely doing anything. And then he finally got the green light and then he gained a whole bunch of muscle. And everybody was asking him if like, where's your hookup? What, let me know.
Right.
Wait,
And it was from the yoga instructor.
yeah, so it was like a sprint performance coach, like Kelly Starrett-esque
Sure,
person,
sure.
I
Yeah.
would say. Yeah.
All right.
But a
Well,
lot of yoga moves, a lot of yoga moves. He just looked like he was doing yoga in the performance center all the time, basically.
yeah, yoga, whatever you want, natural movement.
Yeah. And people were giving him shit about all the yoga he was doing basically the whole time.
And I've heard that story from so many
Mhm.
people that have lifted for so long and they move over to yoga or mobility,
Yeah.
and really amplify from there, especially when they go back to their strength training. So yeah, I don't know how much strength training I've been doing the yoga, which has been awesome, and I do it
Been
super.
mowing a lot. Or no, not so much because of the drought, right?
The drought's been gone, so the mowing's out.
Okay. Okay.
Or it's been a drought, so yeah, the mowing's been out.
Okay.
So since my last check-in, I do everything really early now. So I tend to not be able to lift weights in the morning,
Right.
but doing yoga and a walk at 5:30 or 6 a.m. has been.
That every day, would you say too? Or 5 to 7 days a week?
I've hit 85 out of 95 days. So
Yeah.
yeah, basically every day. And so I can get into that. Like, when do I choose when to take a break? And it's pretty much when I just start getting feel like I've been lifting for so long now that I know when I'm a little bit exhausted.
Mhm.
My goal with yoga and walking is to do it every day. But when I add on other stuff, which is like the mowing, or right now I'm playing a ton of golf.
Right.
Uh, and so the other day I played 36 holes in 2 days, and it was actually like a tournament. So I was stressed out the whole time. So after those 36 holes, I was sore. Like,
Right.
and it was sore probably because I had maybe extra tension in my neck and
Right.
things like that I don't normally have when I'm just chilling and having fun out on the course. And so the next day on Monday, I took off from my yoga and then just did my 30-minute walk, which is only about 2 miles. And so those are my bases right now that I try and do every day until my body says just take a day off.
Man, that's become a little bit of a theme I've been talking to people about, especially in the summertime, I would say. And I think it's at least these last 2 summers. And I wonder if it's been more, honestly, but I'm noticing a trend right now, which is like building an aerobic basin in the summer
Mhm.
versus doing too much moderate intensity or too much high intensity work.
Okay.
Kind of goes into our discussion of the optimal training frequency and intensity and time and type.
Which we need to do that episode. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
I want to make an infographic, man. I got a new iPad and an iPad pencil, and I'm playing around with a bunch of infographic stuff on Canva. I'm getting better at it. So I'm trying to work on getting better at that. But the point being, as I've been talking to people about what an optimal training frequency and intensity and all that is, I am coming to realize how often people are not getting a good cardiovascular foundation, which I think is why things like, have you heard of hybrid athlete and whatnot?
Not too much, man. I don't go online very much.
Yes, which is good. It's nice to have you actually on the other side so I can use you as a filter almost, honestly. But it's this trend right now that people are branding as hybrid athlete where they're saying you can be strong and have good endurance, which
Sure.
which is true. Like you can't be elite strong, but it's true because there's pessimism coming in here because the standards are so fucking low, basically, which I think is why these hybrid athlete types come off as hard asses, probably because they probably are subconsciously or consciously aware of that, I would say.
Okay.
But yeah, I just don't think people are getting enough cardiovascular, low level movement or even just low level intensity movement frequency. You don't even have to call it cardiovascular because it could be mowing, could be walking on a golf course, could be going for a walk, could be a light bike ride, could be playing with the kids in a specific scenario, could be like getting this many steps per day usually translates to 7,000, 10,000 for people. And if
I
you,
do. I love the low aerobic stuff daily. 'Cause, like we talk about this a lot. You got to have your base,
yeah,
and just and I think as a
it
human,
comes up more in the summer though, is what I'm wondering.
we had the episode on seasonal training, and I think where we live on the East Coast in the summertime, you're more out there. You're doing stuff. You're hiking. You're hanging out with the kids. You don't necessarily want to go and do a crazy workouts all the time. So it might
Yeah.
be
And if you do, you probably notice that, holy crap, this is too hard.
sun's up at 5, sun's down at 9. You have 5 more hours in the day than you do in December.
Yeah,
Uh,
you're noticing how much you need that aerobic capacity.
you just have time to go out and take a 30-minute walk and
Mhm.
nice outside, and I think as soon I've actually been feeling it already because it's not light out. If I've been waking up at 5:05 on the dot for 6 months, and 3 weeks ago, it's not light anymore at 5:05 or 5.
Yeah, isn't it sad?
It's light at 5:30.
Oh,
So I'm struggling getting up.
man,
And I already feel it, and
I hate it. I hate it. I'm right there with you. I'm right there. I'm like, nurse, come back, son. I won't see you again for a long time.
Hey, do you have a hard stop at 3?
No, I could probably go about 10 more minutes, I think.
Alright. So I'll just finish up my fit quest, yeah, and I said I've been golfing a lot, right? So that will
Building the base mostly.
building the base and using techniques from yoga into and using that in my golf routine and using techniques in from yoga to calm down my heart rate has been really helpful.
Yeah, that's a big one.
And I can't wait to have this optimal training because
Conversation.
I'm just gonna be the anti-trainer,
I'm
like
excited. Yeah,
like
yeah.
every episode, even though I'm a trainer in it too, but
You're gonna be the contrarian. You're the contrarian.
because
Yes.
I have all these beliefs that I point out to you through text message from time to time, all the BS that we see on the internet all the time,
Swimming in it. Swimming.
it's just swimming in it, and I feel like I love that something like yoga or something like a super easy mobility slash light training is almost better for you. If I'm sure you will argue that before playing golf, like it's better to do these exact exercises and these exact mobility moves. And I'm sure that might help like for that one day.
Don't give me the debate early because then I'm gonna be contrarian.
No, I want you to think about it. I need you to
I
think.
don't know if I would. I don't know if I would say exactly that now that you say it that way.
All right, I won't go into it then. Let's not go into it. We'll just tease it.
Just teasing. Yes, just teasing. All right, well, that's good, man. And you've been doing that for a good bit now, but I think because the summertime has come up, you've been doing the yoga for a good bit now, but because the summertime and golf season has come up, it's really ramped up, right?
I've been doing yoga for a few years for sure, and but I've ramped it up over these past 90 days a lot, and I felt great with it. And I think I'm gonna continue, man. I'm
We should
gonna
get a discount or referral link for yoga with Adrian at this point. Seriously.
we should. I honestly
Shit.
should.
Yeah.
She's so good at cueing that I think about it so much in my own training, like how to
You start
cue.
talking like her.
It's so good. But my next step is I think is gonna be at the end of the summertime
Mm.
when when golf starts ramping down a little bit, like I think the last big tournament is like the beginning of September, and then I'll start implementing a little bit of strength stuff. I have been doing some, and I've been loving this by the way, some isometric pull-ups,
Okay.
and but it's not even leaving the ground. I just raise my hands up to the bar, grab the bar, and just pull as hard as I can and try and engage my lats, engage my upper back, engage my biceps,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
and then breathe to
Yeah.
make sure that I'm not tensing my neck muscles or anything like
Mhm.
that. And
Mhm.
instead of doing the hangs like we've talked about a bunch of times,
So this is like a super active hang,
they're very super active. Yeah, like I'm trying to rip the cage into the ground
right?
without
You're not bending the elbows or shortening any muscles.
barely, like maybe 10 degrees or 20
Okay.
degrees or something like that, not very much, but really trying to engage your lats, upper back, and biceps. So I've been playing around with that. And then also just with the yoga gets a lot of my shoulders and front delts and chest and stuff like that.
I feel like when you do that, you're bringing awareness to the different muscle tissues and the location and how they feel. When you do isometrics, isometrics for that a lot, honestly.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm trying to think. Building
How
the
many times did I say awareness in this podcast before?
uh, there's a training program by Christian Thibodeau who was on T Nation a lot.
Yep.
And I think it's called Building the Beast. And it has an isometric phase that was one of the strongest I ever got was going through that isometric phase with barbells
Yeah.
and doing like bench press and deadlifts, like deadlifts under the pin. So like you're pulling up on the pin, and I got so strong and stable through that phase. Isometrics are huge, I think.
Yeah. Did you feel like by doing those isometrics, you were able to pinpoint the type of feeling you needed better for those movements?
I think so because the progression in that program was to do the movement after that first phase. So
Yeah.
I do think it
Like it's the
helped.
climbing of the muscles that you need to use in that position if you set up the isometric.
Agree.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, it's so crazy because you'll teach one person a lunge and they can use completely different muscles than another person uses in a lunge. Even sometimes, if when you're watching them, it looks like they're moving in the same way.
Absolutely. Yeah, the body's weird, man.
And the timing of when they use those muscles could even be different. Like one person could be using their quads at this time, but then using their glutes at this time. The other one could be using it at a different time and it could still look the same. And what's right exactly is another question. But
That is the question.
yeah, what is good? What is good?
What is
What
good? Remember, we're only sold the best.
only, that's it. That's the only thing.
This is the only thing on the internet.
Who says that? Who said that? Is that Googleable?
Only originals here, Mike. We're not getting anything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Did we do it?
Did it. Made it.
All right. Till next time, Mike.
Thank you for listening.
All righty. Take it easy. Peace.
We'll see.